Okay, to start getting ready to take this front tire off, I undid the brake line here by just backing that bolt off and releasing the tension, and then the end came right out of here. The next thing I need to get out is this speedometer cable here. There's a couple clips here, and from what I've read, this said you should just pull out. They said get it and pull it out. Not having much luck with that. I did unscrew it from the other end up here just so I could lay the wire down and give it a little more ease to work with to get it out of here. I know the speedometer cable is already bad, so it's going to need to be replaced, but we'll get that off and then start on taking the tire. All right, with the help of some bigger pliers, I was able to get that speedometer cable out of there. So that's the hole that was down in there. And let's see if you can see. That little bitty clip there is what was holding that thing in so securely. But with some force, it came out. Okay, so I'm ready to take off this front wheel. There was a cotter pin that you had to take out of here, and then I unscrew that bolt there, and this is going to slide right through and come out the other side, and then that wheel will be loose. Okay, so as soon as I took that bolt out, that wheel just fell right out of there into my hands. Bring it down here, and then take this hub out here. And there's some wheel bearings that we're gonna change. And while we got it apart, we're gonna go ahead and change these brake pads. They look like they still got plenty of meat, but we're down here doing so much other work, we might as well get those as well. And then we're also going to take this tire in and get a new rubber tire put on this wheel and a new inner tube. And we'll get that done at the shop. They got more tools that can do that. Okay, I got the new front tire put on the wheel here. Looking at it, what I've heard from a few people, it's going to be just a little bit too tall for the fender here. So what I'm going to do is take the fender off to get the wheel attached, and hopefully we can get these extended somehow here so that everything will fit in here and keep the fenders as close to original. Okay, so I just got the bearing. This is the front wheel, and I just got one of the bearings out, and that's the spacer attached to it still. This is an inner bearing or a blind bearing puller, and you can see you put this piece down in there, and then it's got a slide hammer that pulls up. I'll take all that off and show you how it works in just a moment. Okay, so to get this bearing out, I'm going to put this and hammer that down into there. Now that that's in the bearing, I'm going to screw this part into there, which will separate that and take up the space and make. Now that I got that tightened down with a couple of wrenches, and I did take and heat that up with the heating gun a little bit, it's a matter of just tapping this till it comes out. And that brought the second one out in just a few seconds. So now both wheel bearings are out, and you'll see you have to use this method because I don't know if you can see in there, but it is seated in there, so you can't just drive it through. Both sides have an edge, so there is no just knocking it straight through. Okay, so I just got the new bearings put in here, and what I did, they're on both sides and the spacer in the middle. I took those bearings and I put them in the freezer overnight so they would shrink as much as possible, and I used the heat gun to heat the rim up to make it expand. I set that bearing on there, and then I used one of the pullers that I used to pull it out, but a larger size so it would get the outside race, and just tapped it in with the hammer till it got in place. Okay, so we got the wheel bearings back in here. We got the cap back on this end. The spacer goes inside there. Then here's the brake hub. It slides right in here like this. So we'll come up from this side. Slide the axle through. Got a washer, castle nut, cotter pin. That'll go right in there, and that'll have the front tire on as soon as I get that cotter pin in. New brake pads stop the tire pretty good here. I will just have to get the brake cable lubed up and hooked back up to it, and speedometer cable and hook it back up.